This is an open letter to friends and acquaintances who are receiving wrong messages about confusing messages about capitalism and socialism and why there needs to be taxes, high taxes on very wealthy people. And many of whom who are not actually wealthy, but they're still scared shitless because they think, $2,000-3,000 that they're making a month in, whatever or equivalent to it around the world, is the government is coming after that. And their government is going to come after them for that little money that they're making. And many rich people who are not really rich, they're average rich, they have a few dollars, a house or two, they're worried that the government is coming after them with taxes. So, and of course, the really rich people, those guys who own newspapers and who own, newspaper websites, very well-known newspapers and websites and medias, TV channels, or who own other businesses which spend a lot of money in media, on media channels. So the media channels, the news channels are, very fond of them. They start advertising a lot this idea that, hey, middle class, lower class, they're coming for your money. Don't let them tax us. Don't let the government tax us because they're coming after your money. Well, here's the idea of taxes. My friends who get scared because the really rich people keep scaring you because they don't want to pay taxes. They scare you so you would, so they can manipulate the public opinion against taxes. So, the guy who's a billionaire is trying to manipulate average folks, manipulate through media the average folks against taxes so he wouldn't have to pay, a lot of taxes. And manipulating average people, the common man, is quite easy by media. The more you repeat the same lie, the common man is probably going to, drink the Kool-Aid and accept the lie. So I'm not going to go into details. In fact, I'm going to make it more simpler to, let's see if we can draw a conclusion. Forget about the millions of people and billions of people in the planet and millions of people in the society and hundreds of thousands of people in your city and thousands of people in your neighborhood. Forget about that. Forget about all of that. Imagine you're in a tribe, a caveman tribe, a tribe of cave people that is 20 people. That is composed of 20 people in a tribe that are cave dwellers. They're living in caves, and there is a couple of grandfathers and grandmothers, and then there are a couple of sons and daughters. They've intermarried with a couple of people from other tribes, so they're there. They have some children, some infants, grandchildren running around, very infants about, and then a couple of sick people and a couple of retarded people, slower than average. So imagine you're part of this cave family, this extended family living in a cave a small tribe of cave people. What happens in such a tribe? In such a tribe, you can always be sure that there is always one or two or three guys of these 20 who are really good at hunting. Two or three or four of the women who are really good at remembering where the food, where the berries are, and where the grains are, where the honey was, and gathering, what they used to do, hunter-gatherers. So remember all of this, that this is a tribe. Some people are faster and stronger and better hunters. Some people are better gatherers, but in general it's a tribe. When there's danger, all of them stand together in order to defend the tribe. When there is a wild animal attacking, all of them sort of have to work together. And when there is a sickness, all of them have to attend the sick so the sick can get healthy. So the whole idea, let's say, what is taxes in a situation in a cave environment? What is taxes? Taxes is the guys who are better at hunting. When they hunt and they bring back a big buffalo, they can't say, okay, we brought back the buffalo, we're gonna cook it, and we, the hunters, are going to, the 3 hunters who are good, not even the bad hunters, just the 2 or 3 who are good, we are going to sit here and eat the buffalo, and then we are going to put the rest of it in the refrigerator for later on for ourselves. And when we are done with the meat, we will, throw the bones to the rest of the tribe. To the rest of you motherfuckers in this tribe. To the rest of you 18 in the tribe, let's say 20-member tribe. The 2 people who are really good hunters, they can't just say, okay, we're going to have the meat and you're going to have the bones. Or the 2 women who are good gatherers and who have good memories and good, of remembering where what is and how to acquire the honey and how to acquire the berries and what to do with that root and what to do with that grain. They can't say, okay, we cooked the bread and we found the honey and we're going to sit here and eat it by ourselves, and whatever, you guys can eat shit. It doesn't work like that, a tribe. It just doesn't. And the whole idea of what Ayn Rand has come up and says, basically, if these, good hunters decide they want to, give some away, they have the right to, and if they don't have to give anything away. Fuck the rest of the tribe. That's that philosopher Ayn Rand. And just, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Or many other, Ayn Rand followers who are feeding the common man what they're feeding today, saying that no, those who are good at hunting, those who have somehow come to some kind of wealth through their own hunting skills or their previous generation hunting skills, and somebody had a good luck and had a specific skill and became Bill Gates, had a good luck. I mean, having a genetic information to become a good programmer is just luck. Many people are not born with those aptitudes that are required currently in our society. I mean, imagine Bill Gates being born in a cave about 100,000 years ago. Bill Gates being born in a cave. Bill Gates would be useless if the whole idea was sort of like every man for himself, and the good hunters can keep their food and fuck the guys who are puny and not very, not very good at hunting and not very muscular, Bill Gates would have been, dog shit by the time he was 5. So the point is this: if you don't understand what's the purpose of taxes and why taxes are fair, you have to scale it back to 100,000 years ago and imagine why there was a need for the tribe to share the joy as well as the pain. The income, share the income, the animal they just hunted, share the animal that they just hunted, more or less equally amongst the tribe. And if you understand that, then you understand why there is a need for, taxing Mr. Bill Gates up to 90%, taxing his children 90%, taxing Mr. Jeff Bezos 90%, taxing Warren Buffett's income 90%. Because the society needs to eat. All of the members of the society need to eat. That was the cave time. It was pretty simple to understand why everybody needs to eat. Why? It's simple. Because, well, today they call it social contract. That time it was just simple logic. Logic of the fact that you can't just throw away members of your society that no longer, either for some reason they weren't able to serve your tribe anyway, anytime, they were born retarded. What do you want to do? Throw them into the ocean? Or they're sick. They're sick, healthy, sick. They're sickly. Not very fit all the time. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're old. What are you going to do with those members of the tribe who are old? When they get old, just throw them off the cliff? So, and the young, the very young, what are you going to do with them? That those youngsters need an education, need to learn how to hunt and how to gather, how to be part of the tribe. That all takes resources from the tribe. It all takes resources from the tribe. The cave people took their resources, took some food for the young to be raised and to be educated to how to be part of the tribe and to take care of the old and the sick. And the whole thing makes sense because, the old were used to, teach the young. I mean, if you throw the old off the cliff because they can no longer hunt anymore and be productive, as capitalism calls them, since the old can't produce, just throw them off the cliff, then who the fuck is going to teach the young if you throw the old off the cliff? Where the fuck the young is going to learn anything? Who they're going to learn from? And the whole idea is you can better understand it if you scale it back to 100,000 years ago. Why the idea of sharing? Whatever the tribe makes, you try to share it more or less equally, because even unequal sharing would create disenfranchisement within the tribe, discontent within the tribe. Imagine you're part of a tribe of 20 people, as I've been saying. You don't feel right if you went to the hunt, they came back and they're cooking and now they're sitting down to eat. You wouldn't feel right that somebody gets a pot full of meat and the rest, a bunch of other people just get a piece of bone. It just doesn't make sense. The tribe is not going to last long under such circumstances. One man, two people, or 3 people eating until their eyes pop out, and then taking the rest of the meat or the large portion of what they have, what's in their plate, whatever they can't eat, they're going to take it away and put it somewhere else for later on, while the rest of the tribe is hungry still. Would you think that 20-member tribe would last long under such circumstances? They start slaughtering each other. There will be blood in the cave. because some people are not eating and some people are eating too much. And that's what capitalism has brought us, that literally people are, at each other's throats because a bunch of people are not getting enough and a few are getting too much. And if you ask me, that the Chinese government is cracking down on really rich people in China for exactly the same reason, because when it becomes very unequal, just like a tribe would not last long when that much unequal access to resources is implemented. Either by custom or law, when there is a very wide gap between a few who have access to a lot of resources and many who have access to very few resources or no resources, that brings disenfranchisement, that brings discontent, that brings revolution. January 6th. So January 6th and Ferguson and this and that, black people screaming over here and the white people screaming over there and the red-skinned people over there, and they all have the same problem: lack of resources. Because it's like 5 people at the top have as much wealth as 50% at the bottom, which are the numbers. And exactly those 5 people are the ones who are paying the media to, create propaganda against more taxes and scare common man to be against taxes, although the common man should be for taxes. However, there is a glitch here. And the glitch is, which, I sympathize. The glitch here is that the good hunters and gatherers are somewhat being taxed, but the money, instead of going towards education and healthcare and old people, in many capitalist countries, including the fucking British and Uncle Sam's land, a lot of this tax money is going for defense. So instead of education, healthcare, social care, social welfare, taking care of old people, a lot of the money is going towards defense, and it's not actually defense, it's offense. It's going towards conquering new lands and organizing new lands and defending the interests of very few people at the top who own a lot of stuff. So the whole idea becomes repulsive. A lot of people, they see a lot of waste in terms of, why we are fighting over there and why we are fighting over there. Who are we? Why a shoulder-fired missile has to cost $150,000? That's a Javelin missile, for your information. It's a shoulder-fired or whatever fired, a field-fired. The regular missile costs $150,000 a piece. By which, if you fire this missile and blow up 3 goats in Iraq, Afghanistan, or in Malaysia or in Philippines, and you shoot this missile and blow up 3 goats or equivalent thereof, you just spent $150,000. Equivalent to a nice big house in Arizona. So the point is this: taxes is what used to happen even in the tribal times with the cavemen. The good hunters and gatherers have to share whatever they hunted, or else the tribe cannot last long. cannot stay stable if, you know, if what is there is not shared more or less equally. I don't care what you call it. You call them capitalism, you want to call it communism, you want to call it socialism. A caveman tribe, a caveman's tribe, who has never heard of communism, capitalism, or socialism, or any other ism, the caveman knew if a few people who are good hunters, if they go for a hunt and they come back with the hunt, if the meat from this hunt is not more or less divided equally and, you know, given to everybody, whatever, you know, satisfies them, they're not going to have a tribe for long. If equal division of food and resources does not happen, they knew they were not going to have a tribe for long if they don't bring some kind of, you know, equality to the system. And they didn't know any isms, no communism, no capitalism, no socialism, no Maoism, no whatever, nothing. They didn't know, but they knew that their tribe would not last long if they keep, you know, giving more to a few and less to many. And you can see that and you can see that what for example what Uncle Sam is doing, spending a lot of money on defense, what they call defense, which is mostly offense. You know, it's not defense of the land, it's the defense of the interest of only a few people who own big corporations, you know, or own majority stockholders in big corporations such as, let's say, Chevron. They have an interest in Persian Gulf, but, you know, average Joe doesn't have an interest in Persian Gulf or in South China Sea. But, you know, Joe John III has an interest in Chevron, has a controlling interest in Chevron, which Chevron has an interest in South China Sea. So Uncle Sam is actually, you know, on the other side of the planet, protecting the interest of Joe John III. My point is this: it has been many decades now that, you know, American old people have to go retire. People who retire in the United States, majority, if they really, you know, investigate what to do so they can actually retire without, you know, having to go work in Walmart even until they die, is that whatever the retirement is, they will take it, but they have to. They don't have any choice. With that money that they receive for retirement on a monthly basis, they can't live in the United States. Or if they do, they're going to be, you know, living in the very squalid conditions. So they move to Mexico. I mean, the guy is like 70 years old. He has to say, okay, I'm receiving this much per month. I can't live in my homeland on this much a month, so I go to Mexico. So many American retirees are moving to Mexico. Many American sick people, you know, go to Mexico to get better, to see a doctor or a dentist. Many American sick people go to Canada to get better and see a doctor and all of that. Equivalent to this in the time of cave people is that basically imagine the cave people, the 20 people in the cave, do not take care of their sick and they're old. They say, fuck you. So the sick have to go seek, you know, help from the neighboring cave people on the other side of the mountain, and the sick, the old people have to go, you know, go to the other side of the mountain and seek help from, you know, try to live with the other tribe on the other side of the mountain who, you know, treat their old people a little better. or the cost of living is still the, you know, because everybody over there is poor, so the cost of living is less. So the whole idea is that the tribe is not taking care of its own people. Why? Because we don't want to tax the few people who are good hunters and good gatherers. Because we don't want to tax them. They go out hunting and they go out gathering and they bring all this food, all these resources. But sorry, we don't want to share it with the old and the sick and the young. Education? What education? A teacher's salary is so low that only the very desperate people, stupid people, become teachers. I'm sorry, my teacher friends or whoever is a teacher that is listening, I'm sorry, but you know, it is what it is. If, let's say, if teacher salary was $100,000 a year, I believe you would have a lot of competition, my teacher, you know, friends. And the competition is good. You know, you believe in capitalism, well, competition is good. If the salary was $100,000 a year, you would have a lot of competition for, you know, teacher job, for being a teacher, and therefore the quality of teachers would go through the roof. You know, very smart people, really smart people would want to become teachers because, hey, who doesn't want a good salary? But because the salary is so low, you know, you get what you get. Maybe there are a few good teachers in there because they do it, although they're very extremely smart and you know, energetic and, you know, well-meaning, but still, you know, and therefore they became teacher and they're just putting up with the salary. They know they're worth more, but they're just putting up with the salary. But those are a few. If people, you know, people who know their worth, you know, smart people usually know their worth. And people who know their worth, they would not last in a job that, you know, doesn't appreciate them with a good salary. Again, with the good portion from the daily hunt. From the daily hunt of the tribe, if one of the members of the tribe does not get a good portion, that member is probably going to get up and leave. And look who's leaving from the American tribe, or many capitalist tribes. The British, same thing. The older, you know, immigrate. Well, when there wasn't a European Union, the old British people couldn't afford to live in Britain. They used to, you know, immigrate to Spain and, you know, retire in southern Spain. I think now they're going to have to retire in Morocco or go to some African country and retire that is warm and cheap to live in, because they can't afford to live in the British island because it's so expensive, because the government doesn't give a fuck. Again, their healthcare, they're spending so much money on defense. They just, a shitty small island with very little resources on the side of Atlantic just built 2 aircraft carriers. Well, they got the blueprints from Uncle Sam, but where does all that resources that's supposed to, you know, pay for the old and the sick in the tribe and the education in the tribe, where is all that money? Well, they just built 2 aircraft carriers. There is not much, you know, you're taxing people somewhat, but still, whatever is coming in, if you're spending it on offense, I'm not going to even call it defense. When you're spending it on offense, then that's the money you don't have to spend on education, healthcare, and the old people. You don't have that money, you don't have that money. Tough luck for the old and the sick and the needy and the children. And the retarded. I mean, you know, whatever society needs has to come from the resources of that society. And if you take that resources and spend it on offense, we need to go conquer some other people. We have uneducated children, we have unhealthy people who we don't have the resources to, you know, treat their sickness. We have all these problems. Bad education system, hungry old people, and unhealthy people who, you know, cannot afford to go to the doctor because, you know, we don't have enough doctors and enough hospital beds because we don't spend money on that. But we have some interest in the Indian Ocean, South China Sea, you know, Gulf of Oman, the Red Sea, the Arabian Peninsula, Venezuela. We have some interest in Colombia. We have some interest in Panama, Grenada, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, Ukraine, Poland. Sort of like Uncle Sam is sort of like the father who, it seems, Uncle Sam, I love you, man, but your managers seem, they're behaving as if like they don't know they have all these children at home. They're spending all their money, you know, going around and, you know, beating up, you know, bad people, I guess. I'm not sure. Beating up bad people in bad areas of town while his children is hungry and sick at home. I'm not sure what's going on. But the point is this. Taxes is exactly like, you know, the food that was coming into the tribe and had to somehow satisfy everybody in the tribe. And there is enough food coming to the tribe. When you have billionaires in the tribe, that means there is enough food. It's just, you know, apparently the idea is not, you know, apparently all the members of the tribe should not, you know, be satisfied with all the wealth that is being generated. So fuck them. Let's, you know, have the sick go to another tribe and have the old go to another tribe, and who cares about the young who need an education? Let, you know, let the least smart people in the tribe become teachers because the salary is so low that only desperate people pick up the job. That is healthcare, that is social welfare for the old, and that is education for the young. Nothing. Meanwhile, you know, we got about 1% of the society who owns about 80-85% of the wealth in the tribe. Imagine the 10 people in the cave, the 20 members of the cave, in which like 1 or 2 people of this 20 have all the resources and then some, and you know, they're riding around in cars while the rest of the cave people are, you know, covering themselves up with the skins. You know, 2 people in the caveman tribe are driving around in Bentleys. By comparison, you know, the difference in wealth, driving around in Bentleys, while, you know, the other 18 members of tribe are either going uneducated, hungry, and the old are, you know, dying in poverty. So yes, taxes are important to keep the, you know, the cohesiveness of the tribe. You need to share in order to keep the tribe together. That's the whole idea behind taxes. The good hunters and the good gatherers have to share. I mean, you know, yes, as I said, you can't. It's easier to explain it with the cave people because, you know, in today's world, you can say, well, I don't know any poor people, I don't know any sick people who can't afford health care, I don't know anybody who can't afford a good education, because I live in a, you know, gated community on top of the fucking mountain, and who gives a fuck about them? But, you know, who gives a fuck about the people I don't know, I don't come across? But they do exist. They do exist. They're sick people, they're old people, they're crazy people, they're uneducated children that, you know, the resources from the tribe has to be spent for these guys, because they're also members of the tribe. You can't just throw away those members of the tribe that, you know, you don't see as beneficial to the tribe at that moment.